you, Speaker. My question is to the Minister for Families and Communities. Can the Minister please update the House on how the New South Wales Government is stepping up and delivering more services for vulnerable children and young people in out-of-home care?
I call the Minister.
Thank you, Mr Speaker, and I thank the mighty member for Penrith for her important question. Now, let me remind the House once again that when we came to government 2 years ago, we inherited a broken child protection system that was spiralling out of control. We had hundreds of children cycling through unsafe hotels and motels, foster carers giving up, caseworkers walking out the door, incredible sums of money being shovelled into for-profit providers despite a $800 million deficit in out-of-home care. But worst of all, kids felt unsafe in a system that's meant to protect them. A review of out-of-home care published late last year found the system fails to meet the needs of children and young people. It's a $2 billion system built by those opposite, where we simply cannot follow the dollar on the actual services being delivered or not delivered to children by outsourced providers. And as the Minister with parental responsibility for almost 14,000 vulnerable children in this state, some of the most vulnerable people we've got, I found the lack of accountability for their safety and their care fundamentally unacceptable. But it's straight from the Coalition playbook that we know so well in this state. They outsource services, privatise responsibility, and then watch essential services deteriorate and communities suffer as a result. They did it with the Northern Beaches Hospital, and look what a disaster that turned out to be. They did it with electricity, they did it with toll roads, and shamefully, they did it with out-of-home care services as well. Now the Minns Labor government is getting on with the job and rebuilding the out-of-home care system that has been neglected and outsourced for over a decade. Over the past 2 years, we've been working methodically to stabilise the system, improve service quality, build accountability and transparency, and rebuild the government's capacity as a critical service provider once again. In 2 years, we have stabilised the crisis we inherited. We've ended unaccredited emergency arrangements like hotels and motels, which had been a growing problem for 2 decades. We've increased therapeutic care capacity by driving down the number of funded but vacant beds in NGO residential homes. We've started the recruitment of urgently needed foster carers after the former government inexplicably stopped. So far, we've recruited 250 emergency foster carers who have already supported almost 1,200 children. We've directly employed 300 new family time workers to help connect children and young people with their families, reversing the 12-year trend of outsourcing under the former government. And we've delivered the first 4 Waratah care cottages to reunite siblings under one roof, with these new houses managed directly by the department. I opened one of these houses with a member for Penrith herself.
Minister, if I could just interrupt you. Member for Penrith. Additional 2 minutes is ready.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I opened one of these houses earlier this year with the member for Penrith herself, and recently with the member for Blacktown as well a few weeks ago. Now, these small achievements demonstrate that as government we will be stepping up and stepping in to ensure vulnerable children are receiving the services and supports that they deserve. In this year's budget, our historic $1.2 billion child protection package sends a clear message to the community that our government is serious about improving the out-of-home care system, and we are serious about ensuring every single taxpayer dollar is spent on supporting the kids and their carers. As part of our reforms, we've committed to boosting the standard foster care allowance by 20%. That's the first real increase to the care allowance in 20 years. We're investing in at least 44 new residential homes across the state, and we're willing to run them ourselves to ensure there's greater visibility, accountability, and better outcomes for these young people. And we've secured $600 million to increase our investment in critical services and supports in a reformed out-of-home care system beyond 2027. Our reforms will see more money being invested more effectively for the sake of kids. The Minns Labor government stands for quality public services. From turning around the chronic teacher shortages in our schools, reducing the elective surgery wait lists in our hospitals, addressing the housing crisis with a massive investment in social housing, and getting more police on our streets. Piece by piece, we are reversing the damage done by those opposite, rebuilding our essential services, treating workers with respect, and focusing on the people of New South Wales. And all this whilst driving up wages and driving inflation down. Every decision we are making is being driven by our determination to give kids and families the futures they deserve. We are building a better New South Wales, and we've only just begun.